Alright, so here we are taking a look at our Skylift shade disassembled here, and we're going to go ahead and assemble ours. Understand in the corner kit here, the corner covers here, we've got spacer blocks here that will go into the bottom rail of the shade. And what they allow us to do here is they slide into the bottom rail. They have a 1/2 inch, 3/8 and 1/4 inch spacer here, and they can just break off. They snap off when I get up to the window. The way they go into the shade is they go onto the back feature. We've got the light gap stop here in the back. We're going to go, or the front, we're going to go ahead and put these into the back feature, and what it does is it keeps me from squashing this, the weight of the shade squashing it in the window. I put it into the window squash, so I can go ahead and break this off and adjust that very easily in the window. Not squashing my light gap strip. I want a nice even light gap strip all the way around. When I'm looking at assembling this, something I want to do prior to assembly, and this is a very small shade, but even on a wider shade, I would do this in 2 spots. I want to wrap a piece of tape around the shade because that keeps the fabric in the stacked position, and that's going to help me put it together level. I won't have to level the shade here down the road in the assembly process. What we're going to do now is take a look at the left-hand top corner here. We have this cable that goes up through the shade, and it goes to this tensioning feature here up in the top rail. What we want to do with this is we want to insert this screw feature with a tab. I'll show you it here a little closer. This screw feature with a tab into the corner here. And I want to go ahead and just take it so the tab ends up to the outside towards me here. That tab's to the outside towards me. And I want to get that in place before I start assembling the shade. I don't have my cable pinched anywhere. What I'm going to do now is take a little piece of tape and tape it over that screw just to make sure it doesn't come out of there. It can come out of there during assembly. You definitely want to put the tape on there. What we're going to do now is take a look at putting the corner into the top rail here. And I want to watch this cable. I'm going to kind of pull the cable in tight. And I'm bringing the 2 features here of the corner into the end of the head rail. Now look at what I can do at the same time. I've got these 2 prongs for the moving rail that can fit into the feature of the moving rail there. Now if this is all taped in place, I'm getting it level as I'm assembling it. I'm doing 2 things at once. So I want to do it that way. I want to keep the fabrics in the stack position, number 1, to protect the fabric, but also I can put this together at the same time and make it level. My screw feature didn't come out, my cable's not pinched in any way. That feature is there ready to go. It kind of holds itself in place there. Understand the top rail will bypass the side rail like you see there, and it just gives it a lot of strength and rigidity for the shade. What we're going to do now is come down here to the bottom left corner here, and we're going to send them the bottom left corner, and we've got this spline drive coming off our PowerView motor here, and what it's going to do is we have these splines here on the end of the drive shaft, you can see them real good there, that are going to fit onto the splines here on the pulley that drives the belt. Look at that steel bearing down in there. You can really see the splines here. So the spline drive is going to drive the splines that raise and lower the shade. Awesome. So we're going to go ahead and bring this in, insert it into place. The 2 features go into the rail. It bypasses, and I wiggle it around just a little bit. It goes right on that spline shaft. I didn't loosen up the collar, anything that way. And again, I wouldn't be moving around, angling this at a camera or anything if I was you out there in the world. The next thing we're going to do is same thing on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and bring the right side in here. It's labeled right. We know we've got the right side. We're going to bring the screw feature out here, put it in to the top of the rail, again with the tab towards me. And we're not going to tension this up or anything at this point. We're going to do that later in the assembly process. Got it into place. Again, the tab's toward me. I'm going to take a little piece of tape, put it right on there, hold that into place. That's held into place. I don't have my cable pinched in any way. I'm going to bring it down here, pull this tight. And this is a very small shade. Depending on the size of your shade, I can go ahead, again, this one's very small. I can go ahead and bring all of this together all at once. So I'm going to go ahead and I can move the drive here to any location. I'm going to go ahead and start the head rail feature in. I'm going to bring the prongs up, and what I'm going to do for this little shade, you would go down and do them separately. If it was a 60-inch shade, you would put this up, it'd get pretty close, then you come down to the bottom. But I'm going to line this all up at once. So, didn't get my prongs into the moving rail. That's okay. Back it out a little ways here. move it up, and I'm putting all of these features in place all at the same time. Driving it in, voila, I've got it all put together. I didn't undo the spline drives, my shades level, I don't need to disconnect those in any way. Now, if I didn't wrap this with tape, I would need to bring in a 5/64 inch Allen wrench here and adjust these splines. And what I can do here, let's try and get it from the back side so you can see it. What I would do here, before I did anything else, was move this around to get that level. I can move this around, move this out, disengaging it from the splines, move the rail level if I didn't tape it, put it back on, re-engage it, and tighten it back up. So I've got both of my spline drives in place. Again, I wouldn't move it around like this. I don't have anything holding it side to side. I've got my cables in place. Nothing's pinched there. I'm ready to go install the bead chain. Now at this point, I can remove the tape. Because the prongs are in the side and the belt drive there, I'm going to go ahead and remove the tape here. And I'm going to bring in a bead chain. And this is my top bead chain here. There's two features on the top. The chain goes diagonally across the shade to these little features here that hold the bead chain in place. So looking at that real quick here, here's the left hand side. Bringing the beads into place here. And it's held in place. Come over here to the left hand side. Bring the bead chain in here, pulling the shade kind of tight here. I want that kind of tight to hold the shade together. This excess stuff here, I just tuck into that location. Going to come down to the bottom now, and I've got these bottom rail tension brackets for the cable here that I'm going to deal with in a minute. They're not held in place. The reason the tape's on there is to hold them in place so they don't fall out when I'm unpacking this thing and going to assemble the shade. But what I've got to do here now is I've got the same feature here and directly across on the other side. The difference here on the bottom is I have to get under these cable tension brackets here. So I'm going to come up underneath, get the bead chain in my hand here. I like to go 2 beads in at least. Snaps into place, held in place there. Underneath the bracket, goes straight across over the top of the PowerView motor, underneath the other bracket. So you can see it's underneath the bracket. I'm going to have to get some hemostats here and pull that out and get my hands on it. Then we're going to bring it over here into the corner here and snap it into the same feature on the opposite end. Again, kind of tight, a little bit tight there. Now what I've got with the 2 bead chains in place, I've got my shade held side to side. It's not coming apart on me now for any reason. What I'm going to do now is I've got this aesthetic here holding these tension tabs that I'm going to attach to the tension brackets here. So what I'm going to do is, what I'm going to do for this video, because I know it's going to be a big deal, is I'm going to take the aesthetic here, put it in place, and just kind of tape it up there, just for video's sake here. Tape it up here so it's not messing with me. You may want to do that out there in the world, out there in the field. I'm going to take this feature of the tab, and it fits in between, let's see if I can pick it up here, in between those 2 features there. So I'm going to bring the tab into place. And it goes into place there. All right, the left side's in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in screws. And in a bag here, kit bag, you're going to have 3 little tiny screws that come with the kit. What I'm going to do is take my Phillips head screwdriver here and magnetize it. This is a magnetizer. This one's from General. Move it around in here and look what I've got here. I've got a magnetized screwdriver that's going to hold my screw onto the screwdriver. Taking your fingers in here and trying to hold this into place is very difficult. What I'm going to do now is I got my magnet holding my screw in place. I got my tab in place here, my tension tab. I'm going to drive that screw into that tension tab. And it doesn't have to be ridiculously tight. And if I drop it, guess what? My magnet pulls the screw back out for me. Bring the screw back in. Drive it into place. It's a fine screw, fine threaded screw, 440, and I've got it into place there. Didn't really get to show you that on the camera, but there it is in place. I won't adjust this yet because I'm going to adjust the tension up here. I'm going to repeat that function on the right side. I'm right-handed, so this side's going to be kind of tough to show. I'm going to put the tab into the features of the bracket here, the tension tab, into the tension bracket, put it into place. It's ready to go. Going to get my magnetized screw here with my magnet. I magnetized the screwdriver, not the screw. Then I'm going to drive it into place. Again, this is going to be kind of tough to catch on the camera. I'm driving it into place. And it's now held in place. So I'm not tensioning this up. What that screw does is it keeps the tab from coming out at any point over the life of the product. I won't finalize the location of these until about now, because what I'm going to do here is come up to the top of the shade here and look at the screws at the top. And I've got a Phillips head screwdriver. I've got this black mark here, which is the feature, which is the mark, I should say, that I want this tab inside here to go to. So I've got this tab here moving up to the black mark. So I'm just going to get on the screw here and then tighten it up, righty-tighty. And the mark is the pretty good adjustment point for the tension here. I'm right at the mark here. That tension feels really good to me. I don't want it super tight, but I want it tight enough to hold in place. And I want to move it so it's in line with the fabric. If the tension cord's way over here, the shade's going to come down and stop at that point. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Move the tape here. And I got the screw feature. Line in the tab with the mark. Right about there. Going to come down at the bottom now, move it around, get it straightened out, and then I'm pretty much done, other than the fact that I need to hook up to a power source. Now I have a very small shade here. The battery wands would not fit inside this shade. This is an under the camera shade that we've got to fit under the camera. But what I'm going to do at this point, I would have two battery wands over 28.5 inches. Under 28.5 inches, I would have one battery wand. I'm going to go ahead and run my battery wire out and then drop the aesthetic cover down onto the bottom of the shade. And I'm going to run this wire over to the side here, around the aesthetic cover, but not into the belt drive. Run it into place. The aesthetic just snaps into place. Making sure my cables are in the right position. I'm going to bring my battery wand, and again, you wouldn't have a battery wand like this in your window, and I could have the battery wand mount outside the window using the satellite battery pack here. Here's the wand going into place. Here's the aesthetic cover for that. Move it out of the way, mount it down the window somewhere. Bring in my PowerView shade here and go ahead and conduct the operation. And look at that. I've assembled a PowerView Skylift Honeycomb shade from Hunter Douglas.